Lawsuits, courts, unconstitutional compromises, and that's not even about the actual measure. Are you ready for it?
I dig down deep, 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 deep.
I'm Jesse Pettyboat, and you're watching Dig Deep, the show where we take a complicated topic and make it easier. For the 2018 election, come on down for the ballot bonanza. We're breaking down every single ballot measure in both Washington and Oregon, so you can vote smart. I spent hours reading Ballotpedia and researching, so all you have to do is watch this video. I'll give you the background and the facts, and then I'll give you my scalding wit and researched opinions. You don't have to vote how I do, but you sure as heck can't be ignorant. Before we actually get into Measure 940, you should know the Washington State Legislature is going to amend this measure as soon as it passes. And it's a good thing they're going to amend it because people who both oppose Measure 940, certain law enforcement groups, and those who support 940, a giant coalition of tribes, organizations advocating for persons with disabilities, LGBTQ persons, people of color, immigrants, non-citizens, Native Americans, youth, and formerly incarcerated people, came together to make the amendment, which actually passed in the House and Senate literally months ago. It was called House Bill 3003 because the future is now, or as I call it in this video, the compromise, and it kept almost all of Measure 940 with a couple little changes. Once an initiative gets enough signatures to get on the ballot, the legislature can pass it, but what they cannot do is immediately pass an amendment on that measure. So either 940 passes via a vote and then they can amend it with a 2/3 majority, which they already have, or 940 will fail and then they'll just pass the compromise as a whole new bill when the 2019 legislature returns. Measure 940 is about law enforcement training and criminal liability. Ooh. Washington is 5th in the nation in deaths by police force, and since 2005, 300 people have been killed by police, but only one officer was ever charged. And they were later acquitted. Why has literally one person ever been charged? Because part of the Washington state law says you have to prove an officer acted with malice and failed to act in good faith. That malice part makes it basically impossible to charge an officer for using deadly force, even if they failed the good faith part, which is much more appropriately difficult to fail. Does this mustache look like it's capable of malice? Measure 940 removes the malice part but keeps the good faith test as determined by an independent investigation. And both supporters and opposition to Measure 940 agree to this part. I love it like I love watching The Real Housewives. I mean NFL. So that tells me that's a good idea. Exactly. Now let's talk about the next part of Measure 940. There's already an organization that determines which trainings are required to become an officer. Measure 940 has that organization develop trainings on de-escalation, mental health, and first aid. 940 also requires the Commission makes these trainings with law enforcement agencies, the Attorney General, and the communities most impacted by police violence. The trainings are focused on ways to still handle situations while also fostering better relationships between law enforcement and the public. I love accountability. I am notoriously opposed to accountability, however I will take it because everybody is starting to hate me. Measure 940 is so similar to the compromise. The biggest change is that 940 requires law enforcement to administer first aid, and the compromise has them administer first aid only after they've secured the scene, which was like probably how they were gonna do that anyways. So that's basically what Washington will be getting one way or another. However, because I'm petty, I should mention the Fraternal Order of Police is opposing 940 even though they support the compromise, and like, I see what they're doing, but it's a little unnecessarily divisive and a waste of funding. So vote yes on Measure 940. Or vote no, I guess, even though 99% of people are on board to pass an almost identical bill. But rest happy knowing the law enforcement is listening to the communities they serve and everybody's working on it together. Finally. If you like this video, don't forget to punch that like button and send it over to your friends because they need to vote too. Subscribe for more videos like this and then check out the Election 2018 playlist for every single ballot bonanza video. Then it's time to vote. You can vote by mail, drop off, or in person. And you can find deadlines and locations and more at vote.org or by googling Vote Washington or Vote Oregon. See you on the other side.